Alright guys, 5 subs and I'll reveal something hidden. Okay, I'll just reveal it. I get to try this out. I can't play on it, but I'm gonna give my first impressions on the Panda controller. Don't break it. No promises. Why can't you play on it? I think the motherboard isn't finished, so it'll drop inputs. You just like...
Yeah, because it is thin, I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is thin, I actually
yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah, I'm personally more interested in that. If it's like slightly better for your hands.
That's the hope. Obviously, I'm a doctor by
Yeah.
trade, so this should be more ergonomic. The interface is a little bit different with the controller itself, but your muscle memory have to be changed a little bit because the way that the angle of your
Yeah, exactly. The angle's more sideways.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this feels a lot better actually.
Right?
Yeah, it's actually really weird how like more relaxed you can be just because the GameCube controllers, I think it's these things that like they're just so thin.
Yeah. And of course, you don't like the back buttons are fully removable.
Yeah.
It comes with gloves.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, let me, one second, I'm just gonna tweet. Yeah, so this is how it looks with this is not the regular one, this is the Pro shell. Personally, I think it looks, I mean, it feels better. You're like more separated, not as cramped. But, I don't know, let me try it. The main issue, the main thing is that the control stick, basically because these ones are not as straight as the GameCube controller, right? Like this one's way more straight. The angle you approach the control stick is a little different. So, yeah, dash dancing is like a little different. But overall, I think this is definitely a better like ergonomic controller. I mean, grip. Yeah, I mean, overall for me, I mean, I have a clicky Z button. This one's like a little mushier, so it's closer to how the regular controllers feel. I mean, I'm sure you can mod this too.
They're easier to mod, so we actually made it so there's things in there that you can drop in tactile switches very easily.
Okay, so they're made to be easier to, okay. Yeah, because for me, I would obviously remap this to jump with the C button. This is how the C buttons will look. And I mean, you can kind of hear they don't make any sound. It's got all the buttons. I'm assuming you don't use plus. So for this one, the R trigger is like, it's a lot shorter, and the L button's like, you have to press a lot more. We can reconfigure this as well. This one does not have the weight pack on. Well, it's right here.
And weights in there are just plastic. It'll actually have real weights in it.
Okay. Yeah, so currently it's only plastic weights, but eventually there will be real weights. Personally though, I would not use a weight pack at all, I think. I would like actually go like this, because I like light controllers.
So the rumble motor in there is very easy to remove. There's a bracket on it, and you don't have to cut the wires anymore. It's plugged into the hardware.
Okay, yeah. So that's one's like inside here, yeah. Yeah, for me, I think this weight is fine. Like, I think I wouldn't have to take out the rumble, but I wouldn't need extra weight either. And, oh yeah, back buttons. And right now they're bound to like X and Y.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I probably would not use them. I would rather use Z buttons to jump. But that might be because I feel like, I mean, it's understandable, but they're a little mushier, if that makes sense.
Oh, the rubber pads are not final on that one, so they'll feel a little bit more bouncy.
Okay, a little bit more bounce on final. Yeah, because at least for me, that's like, if I were to short hop with this, I like need a little bounce or something. But I think that's also like, it would be very hard, I think, even with a perfect button to short hop with a button like this, because you have to kind of slide off it. That's the method most people use for short hopping on like spaceys. So I mean, it would have to be like very, very easy to lightly press for that. But even like on, if I play in frame 1, it's like you kind of like very lightly tap it. So I think it's something worth considering if you can like make the button so it feels comfortable to short hop on a fast jump squat character.
I mean, people say that back button will make Falco like a lot easier to play too. Might change the metagame even.
Yeah. I like the.
These are Miz Mod Dog's ball buttons. He was able to give them to us very nicely.
Yeah, I have ball buttons on this, but I would say these ones feel a little bit better. And I think part of it is that for my ball buttons, it's like, obviously they're very shaved down, and they have this weird finish. You can touch it if you want. It's like,
I see.
so because of that, they feel like a little mushier, whereas this one feels like it's easier to slide off, but it's still pretty good response, like pretty good tactile. I don't know, like, obviously this is not like me playing, but it feels pretty good to slide. But I'm sure you could customize this too. Like, you could obviously shave these buttons down as well, just like the others. Yeah, for me, I think the triggers feel good. Is this the lowest you can make the trigger?
Yes.
Okay. Let me feel this. It's about the same.
The throw distance should be the same.
What's that?
The throw distance should be the same.
Yeah, but so this one's like modded. That's why. So this one's like easy to press. This one as well. You can feel this one. This is like a mechanical switch, so it's like it's very short.
Oh, wow.
And that's because for me, if I have hand issues, it's on my left hand, and so just being able to very lightly press it, and I only have hard still now. I don't have.
We actually have so in the back, if you go on, in the back here. The dials right here, you can set each shoulder button to analog, digital, or both, so you can make one light shield, one hard shield.
Okay, yeah.
And on top of that, if you set it like that, you can actually do a setting where just pressing it at all, the analog signal that'll be sent is all you need. So you actually don't need to do a full press to get what you want, and that'll be something we can do with the button right now.
Okay. Makes sense. So you can like have a specific analog setting that you want, like you don't want if you don't want full light shield. So. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the control sticks feel. I mean, I don't know how much this has been used, but they feel like this C stick feels almost a little less snappy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the older version of our stick box. The newer version.
Okay.
It's still not done yet. There's the disc we changed, and there's a few three different parts still in there. So the stick box will be better than this current one.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, I mean, for me, the biggest problem with controllers is always going to be the stick box and like obviously how notches work. I know you can remove these gates, but I think that's always going to be like for a really high level melee player. I think the stick box is always going to be the most important thing because everything else you can get used to. I mean, obviously having options to rebound and stuff like that, but yeah.
We spent the most time in the stick box, and also the stick box can work with any 2-3 motherboard, so you can actually drop our stick box into those controllers as well. The potentiometers on it are noble potentiometers, which are considered the best potentiometers ever made.
Yeah, they last longer, right?
Correct.
So does that mean that the stick gets less loose, or just that the control stick like registers more?
Registers
registers more. Yeah, I know Cardano actually said that like he was working on a mod for noble potentiometers for a GameCube controller. Already, so that's definitely worth trying because, I mean, I don't know. Do you know what the Goonwave has? Does it also have the Noble?
It does. No. Well, right now there's only one person in the world that can get Noble potentiometers. It's Cardano, because we have to bulk order them, and he's able to get them in small packages, so he's able to send those. So your Goonwave probably has no potentiometers in them, but they don't have to. The one big thing with the Goonwave that they have is hot swappable potentiometers, or you're able to remove them and put in new ones very easily instead of soldering it in. We opted not to do that because we feel that when mass manufacturing these things, there'll be a lot of issues between them. So we thought it would cause too many differentiations between controllers, and that would be a problem.
Yeah. So I guess for me, my thing is like, ideally, I would want to be able to have the exact same controller experience, or almost the exact same, with like 3 different controls at the same time. So like for me, I think the fact that a controller wears down and like starts feeling different as you keep using it is one of the issues where like I would maybe want to play on a frame 1 where obviously because it's digital, every control is going to be the same.
Right. So actually, in terms of that,
Yeah.
if you'd like, so one big thing with wear and tear of the stick box is that it will inevitably get snapback on it.
Yeah.
So that's why we developed the snapback dampening here. So right here and right here, using the Allen wrench, you can press them. There's 20 different settings for the X and the Y values.
Yeah.
So even though when you get the wear and tear on the stick box that you're referring to, it'll feel older, you can actually reduce the effect of that oldness of the stick box.
And like in game or how it feels in.
This is actually, so this has a memory chip in it. So if you do these via software, and it'll remember the settings when you plug it into a game.
Okay.
So like that to us was to get the maximum life out of your stick box that you can possibly get. You don't have to like relearn another one.
Okay, and you can replace the stick box if you want to.
Yes, the stick box is easily replaceable, and we are going to sell them separately too, as well as the potentiometers, because we can buy no potentiometers because we're doing a bulk order, and we can only do them in the bulk. I think 4,000 is the minimum, and we're gonna do a lot more than 4,000. Okay. So.
Yeah, because I mean that's my ideal thing, that like if my controller breaks or something feels weird, I just use another one that I have. Obviously, I would need notches and everything, but you could make these 3D printed.
Yeah, you could. And the hope is that we gave modders and artists a lot of new things they can do.
Yeah.
And they're already talking about crazy ass things that no one's ever thought of. So really happy to hear it. Honestly.
Yeah. And yeah, the D-pad is very tactile, but obviously this doesn't. For Melee, this does not matter.
No, it doesn't at all. The fact you tried it even surprising. Yeah. That's actually based off of the new Xbox Series X D-pad. We sort of started that as our model.
Yeah, I mean it feels good. If
you play Guilty Gear on the Switch, you could probably use that,
exactly. Like if you played other games, for me, I think. I mean, I don't play D-pad on ever basically, but this is.
Wait, even Guilty Gear?
No, so I play stick. Like I never use like
arcade.
I never use like pad. So for me, it's like it would maybe be a little small, but I don't know if that is how other people feel.
It's a GameCube that we're limited by the shape there.
Exactly.
And honestly, I don't like doing that to for the D-pad to play.
Having like it low here.
I like it higher, like it is in the PlayStation controller.
Yeah, exactly. Like having this position is more natural if you're going full time.
Yep.
Okay, well, I have to practice, but I appreciate the try.
Any other questions I can answer for you?
Not really. Like, obviously, I want to be able to try it as soon as possible to see it for me. But
and I did DM you early on in the development of this, asking for what you like out of an ideal controller. You never answered.
I think I did, but at that point, it was too late.
But if you have other features that you want or that you're interested in, let me know now, because we have a few more months of design left. So if there are things that we can fit in our timeline, we can do it still.
I think the one thing for me is like, I don't know if it's possible, but like I like very easy to press triggers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so...
But I think that might be a mod thing.
Yeah, I think it's what it's going to be. So because there's 16 different heights, you'll know what height you like. You go to the modder and tell them, I like height number 14.
Yeah.
They can then make you a shoulder button with a plug that we're designing at height 14 with the exact sensitivity that you like. And we want, like, so Cody has really soft springs.
Yeah.
I think that's a Leffen mod.
Yeah, he has a very, very soft
Eleanor
as well.
I think it feels really good, honestly. So that's very easy to test for him too. And the tactile switches as well. So they'll be able to fully mod this out. It's very easy, and the brackets in the back. So using the same Allen wrench, you can take out the trigger assembly and just plop in a new one very, very easily.
All right. All right. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you guys. Do you have any questions? Panda Controller out of 10. I can't fully rate it until I get to play with it. If everything they're planning works out, it's going to be a very good controller for everyone that, like, at the very least, everyone that doesn't, like, super go hardcore in Melee. I think that part is going to be very hard to predict until we play with it. We know how the notches and the pod emulation and everything is, stuff like that, right? GameCube controllers just have a lot of issues, like and the game is very specific. So it needs to have some of the Goomwave features, basically. I think it could be the main controller for a lot of pro players, if that makes sense. But you also would need, for it to get to this level, for me, I would not just need the Panda controller in hand. I would also need notches and like, you know, the L trigger mod and stuff like that, right? And like tactile Z button. See how this one sounds like this? Yeah, so Firefox and Wave Dash notches are going to be. There's a gate you can remove, and so you can 3D print notches. For like most top level players, it's probably not out of the gate usable.
It makes sense.
But yeah. I will say, I think the Pro Shell grip felt definitely superior. If you're still in the market buying one, I would 100% consider using one. Because it's just a lot more comfortable of a grip. Like, a lot more. Ultimately, though, it's going to come down to, like, stick feel and shit like that at the end of the day for me. It's pretty promising, I will say. And as I've always said, like, I was always positive to it, right? But for me, it's like the issues I have with controllers is just that, like, a lot of them are inherent to them being analog and how Melee's programmed. Because Melee being programmed the way it is makes it really inconsistent, even if something is very, very slightly off.